Hello, welcome to Bits and Biology. My name's Liz, and today I'm going to do a play-along of Waypoints. Waypoints is a roll and write print and play game that won the 2023 Golden Geek Best Print and Play Board Game Award. It was designed by Matthew Dunstan and Rory Muldoon with artwork by Rory Muldoon and published by Postmark Games in 2023. Today I am going to be playing through Map 2. There have been 3 maps published for Waypoints, and I believe there are 2 additional maps that are still in the planning stages that will eventually be released. There are also plenty of fan-made maps that you can access through Postmark Games' Discord. You can get there via the forums in Board Game Geek, and there are also monthly challenges posted on Board Game Geek. If you don't already have the game, you can purchase and download it from the Postmark Games website for about $5 US. It's £4 sterling, and that is postmarkgames.com. Like I said, I'm going to be playing through Map 2. Map 1 is Whistling Water National Park, and I already did a playthrough of that map. Map 2 is for Burning Rock Canyon, and that is what we're going to be doing today. And Map 3 is the Great Western Coast, which integrates ferries and, as I like to think of it, scuba diving. Anyway, that's Map 3. I will be doing a playthrough of Map 3 and posting this for my Patreon supporters. But today we are going to be playing through Map 2. The rules for Waypoints Map 2 are very similar to Waypoints Map 1 with a few differences. For Map 2, we have integrated into our weather patterns for each day of hiking these requirements to find shade, and these are denoted by these darker patches on the map. Every time we get 4 or 5 movement points, meaning it's very sunny and we're going to be hiking for a long time, at some point during our hike, we will have to pass through a shade feature that we have not already passed through. Instead of mountains, we now have hot springs. That's pretty awesome. In order to score our hot springs, we will count the number of contour lines that we passed over in order to get to the hot springs on that turn. We also have huts. For each hut we visit, we're going to increase our score multiplier. You can see that right here for each set of different animals that we've seen at the end of the game. So for example, if we visit 3 huts, we would have a 4x multiplier. At the end of the game, if we've circled 6 coyotes, 4 snakes, and 5 eagles, that would be 4 sets of 3 different animals, and therefore our huts would score us 4 times 4 equals 16 points. We also have different special actions over here. As we are viewing the animals, we'll gain these special actions. We have tickets, climbing ropes, and hats. Tickets are going to allow us to use the cable cars. Those are these spots right here. So the tickets are going to allow us to use those cable cars to cross the canyon. When we reach a cable car waypoint, if we have a ticket, we can spend it to immediately make a special additional move on that same turn. We're going to use dotted lines to indicate that. And we're going to go from one cable car point to the cable car point across the canyon. We can stop at waypoints along the way within that grid square that are inside of the canyon. We do not, however, gain water or shade for passing through those, or for passing over those features, and that thematically makes sense. Climbing rope is going to be used to travel across up to 3 contour lines, not grid lines, these are just contour lines, for free during our turn. So they kind of work like coats did in Map 1, except we can't use them for crossing grid lines. And thematically, that makes sense because contour lines represent a change in elevation. So either we're using the climbing rope to go up or down. Hats, which we earn as we see birds, are going to be used for one of 2 possible actions. First, we can use a hat to ignore the requirements to visit a shade feature on turns when it's needed, whenever we get these 4 or 5 movement points. And secondly, we can use a hat to circle a second animal space when we visit a shade feature. So whenever we go through a shade feature, we get to, similar to the woodland features in map 1, we get to circle an additional space on one of the animal tracks. As usual for the solo game, we're going to be trying to end our turn at a campsite. On easy mode, we have to do that at least 3 times in order to win the game. And on hard mode, we would have to do that all 4 days. If we do manage to end our day of hiking at a campsite, we earn the 2 times bonus, just like we did in map 1. And the requirements for the goals are similar to the requirements that were in map 1. Here we get 1 point for every waypoint that's unique that we went to in that day of hiking. Here we get 2 points for each waypoint that's the same that we visited on that day of hiking. Here we get 6 points for each set of 3 different animals. So 1 coyote, 1 snake, and 1 eagle. And finally, here we get 3 points for each time we travel across the edge of the canyon on this hike. So that includes traveling in the cable car, in which case each trip would count twice because we're going across one rim of the canyon and then the other rim of the canyon. Over here, we have our trip bonuses. So these span the whole 4 days of your hike. If we have goal A, we get 2 points for each water feature we visited, plus 10 points if we manage to visit all 10 lakes. Here, we get 2 points for each different shade feature we visit, plus an additional 10 points for visiting all 8 shade features. For goal C, we score 1 point for each different grid square visited by the route that we've hiked, plus an additional 10 points if we manage to visit all 24 grid squares. And I think that's a really fun goal. That's one of my favorite goals and really usually results in quite a meandering hike. And then finally for goal D, we score 2 points for each different cable car waypoint that we visit, plus an additional 10 points if we visit all 12 cable cars. All right, I think that's everything we need to know to get started. So first thing we're going to do is figure out what our goal is by spinning our pen. And we are trying to fulfill goal B. That is, we get 2 points. I guess we should call it a bonus. We get 2 points for each shade feature that we manage to visit, and there are a total of 8 shade features on the map. The other thing that we need to do is figure out what campsite we're starting at. So let's roll the die for that. We're starting at campsite 4. That's down here. So I'm going to put an X here, and just like I did when I played through map 1, I'll put an X at the end of each day of hiking, and so that we can tell what features we visited for that day. All right, let's get started with our first roll. We got a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, it is partly sunny. We have 4 movement points, but we do need to find some shade. So let's take a look first before we get started at where these shade features are, because my goal is going to be to visit all of those shade features. So we have one here, here, and here. Shade feature here, here, and here, and here, and here. So no shade features down in this corner here, but I am also going to be going for huts because those act as multipliers for sets of animals. And I really like this goal because it encourages you to visit a diversity or view a diversity of animals. So we're going to be trying to view coyotes and snakes and eagles. All right, so we have 4 movement points. Let's see. We do need to find shade, so probably the best way to do is to start off in this direction. So if we go for that shade there, we have 1, 2, go through the shade. 3, 4, we could end up at a hot springs. That seems pretty good. Let's do that. 1, go through the shade. Oops, I think I forgot to count 1. Okay, so we have 1, 2, we paused for some shade because it's a long day, and 3 and 4, and we ended our day at a hot spring, or ended our turn at a hot springs, and we crossed over 3 contour lines. Remember, the grid lines don't count, And so we'll put a 3 here for our hot springs. All right, next, let's see how the weather goes as we are toweling off from our soak in the hot springs. We got a 2. Oh, look, we got some rain. That's kind of nice when you're hiking in the desert. So that is 2 movement points, coincidentally. So let's see. Let's head over this way. I'm going to be trying to hit that shady spot over there. And for 2 movement points, I can go view this eagle here. So let's do that. We'll circle the next spot on the eagle track. All right. And remember, if you're playing along, I encourage you to play along. Don't forget you can pause the video if I'm going too fast, or if I'm going too slow at any point, I will have timestamps down in the description. And so as not to give away how many dice rolls you're going to get per day, I've just numbered the dice rolls. So you would just count what die roll you want to fast forward to. All right, ooh, look at that, we got another 2. I love getting these low numbers. So we have 4 movement points. It's partly sunny again, so it's a little hot out, and we need to find some shade with our 4 movement points. So that's great. We have some shade over here. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, go through the shade and end at that compass right there. Oh, and I forgot, on my last turn, every time you go through a shade feature, I was so excited to hit the shade, that I forgot, you can circle the next animal on one of the animal tracks. So we actually have to circle 2, 1 for this shade and 1 for that shade. Oops. And we visited a compass. So let's circle the compass first. That gets us some gear, sort of a wild gear. And then I guess just to keep these about even is going to be my goal. I will circle 1 for coyote and 1 for snake. I should be thinking about these goals over here. Oh, look, I've already got a set, so probably I'll go for this goal right there, the one that gives me 6 points for each set of animals that I visited on this day of hiking. All right, next we get a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like, what is that? It's not partly cloudy, maybe? Or foggy. I don't know. What is that? I don't think we had that on the first map. It doesn't say in the rules, so I guess we get to decide. It makes sense to me that would be partly cloudy, or maybe a little windy or breezy. I'm not sure. Anyway, we don't need to find shade, and we have 3 movement points. We're getting towards the end, so I want to keep an eye on, I'm probably going to try and end my day at this campsite over here. Maybe I should try and go over for this hut, because that's going to start me along this multiplier path. So that would cost me 1, 2, 3, 4 movement points. And I only have 3, so I'll have to use one of my waters. 1, 2, 3, 4. And at that hut, that's going to give me a multiplier at the end of the game for each set of animals that I have seen on my hike, on my trip. Right, next, this might be the end unless we roll a 1 or a 2. That would be pretty awesome to roll a 1 or a 2. Sorry, the opposite of that. We got a 6. So we are at the end of our day. We have 2 movement points. The sun is going down. And with our 2 movement points, we have to get all the way over here to this campsite. Oops, I used up a water. We're not going to be able to do it. Oh, we do have a gear. So we do have a wild gear. We can use that as a climbing rope to get us across up to 3 contour lines. Let's see if that'll help us. So that would get us across these 2 contour lines. We have 2 movement points. So should we use up our gear already? Oh, I have to, otherwise I can't end at a campsite. Yeah, we should absolutely do that. Okay, so cross off this backpack. I'm gonna use that backpack as a climbing rope to, let's say this hut is, we'll say that that's down in a valley. We're gonna climb out of that valley. There's 2 movement points with our climbing rope. Now we go across a grid line and another grid line and end at campsite 2. So we do get our bonus. I'm going to use this bonus here, 6 points for each set of animals. Oh, you know what? I don't think I can use that because I didn't visit all of those animals. Let's see. What does it say? 6 points for each set of 3 different animal waypoints visited on this hike. Nope, can't use that. I visited a hot springs, an eagle, a compass, and a hut. I visited 4 different things. That's pretty good. So let's do that. 1 point for each unique waypoint. That would be 4 points, plus we get our bonus for ending at a campsite. That's 8 points. All right, now we put an X there because that's where we ended our day. And we get our 2 water for the end of the day. Remember, we started with 2, and now we have 2 more. So we have a total of 3 water right now. We have no gear backing us up at the moment. We need to change that. I'd like to get a ticket in order to sail across this canyon. Not sail, but go in the cable car. So how do I get a ticket? I need to see a coyote. Well, let's see what we get for our first roll. Oh, look at that. It's a 1. And that is 5 movement points. It is a hot day, though, so we need to find some shade. And we don't already have a ticket, so we're not going to be able to use the cable car. So we're going to have to climb down into the canyon, I think. And we want to see a coyote. So with our 5 movement points, maybe we're going to go view that coyote right there. We have 5 movement points. There's no water. Oh, and we need to find shade. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. If we can't find shade, what happens? Here's what the rules say. In the extreme hot weather in the canyon, some turns require the players to seek shade. All the 4 and 5 spaces on the weather track are shaded. On a turn with this weather, players must pass through a previously unvisited shade feature on the map. If they cannot do this, they must pass for this turn and gain 1 water as normal. That would be terrible. But where's our closest shade? Is way over here. Can we get there? Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3 contour lines. 4, 5. We can just get there, but we don't get a feature. We'd have to use a water. We can get a water and go to that hut. Well, I guess that's what we're going to do. 3. Oh, wait. 1. We can go this way. No, we got to go through that shade feature. Okay. Well, it's going to be a long day of hiking, and we need some shade. So let's go along the edge of the canyon here. 1 grid line, 3 contour lines. We're up to 4, 5. Go through some shade and end our day end our small part of our journey at a hut. So I used up a water. It was a hot day. I did get some shade, so I didn't have to rest. That would have been terrible to have to rest when we had 5 movement points. I do get to circle a hut. That's pretty good. I still want to make it over to that shade way over there. Ooh, this is dangerous. I might not get to all the shade features. Tricky. Okay, next. A 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's raining. So it was really hot in the morning, and now in our late morning it is raining. We get a little bit of a reprieve. We don't have to find shade, but we only have 2 movement points. I know. We're going to come over here. Should we go for the binoculars or the eagle? Binoculars. Let's see. What goals do we have over here? We visited a hut. Probably not going to be able to visit another hut. We're probably going to count contour lines that we crossed. Is that what that is? I can't remember. 3 points for each time you have traveled across, the edge of the canyon on this hike. Well, we already did it once, so that's pretty good. Let's see. What do we have? 2 movement points. 1. We don't get that shade benefit again. 2. Now, should I go for an eagle? Would give me a hat, and that allows me to ignore a shade requirement. So let's go there. Okay, so we saw an eagle. Majestic. Next up, and we used 2 movement points, right? That's what we had? Yeah. Okay. We're good. I've got a 2. That is 3 movement points. Looks like it's partly cloudy. A little bit of a reprieve. Oh, look, we can visit some water. And I'm trying to get over to this shade way over here. We are not near the end of our day. We're sort of we're sort of right midday. We have 3 movement points. Now we're definitely going through the water. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would, 4 would get us to a cable car. We don't have a ticket, but it at least would count. What would it count for? Wouldn't really count for anything. There's a hot springs over there. Maybe we can go visit Coyote. That would give us a ticket. We need a ticket. Let's see, that would be 1, 2. That's okay. We don't use all of our movement points, but that's okay. We're going to visit that lake and come down and view that coyote. So we get to circle a water bottle and circle the next circle on the coyote track. So now we've earned a ticket. We have a ticket and a hat. Let's see, next. Woo, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is raining. Raining again. So we had some rain and then it was partly cloudy and now we have some rain again. We only have 2 movement points. That is not much. Not much at all. I guess we are going to come over here and just visit this compass. That gives us another backpack, so that's great. That's wild gear. And this might be the end of our day, in which case we would be trying to end at campsite number 1. I got a 3. It is indeed the end of our day. I should have hoped for a 1 or a 2. We only have 2 movement points. We're going to have to use a water to get out of the canyon, because that's 3 contour lines. We're going along the edge of the canyon here to end up at this campsite number 1 over there. So I have to use a water. And we did not see a whole set of animals, so I guess we're going to count. We did 2 edges of the canyon. We went down over here. We meandered through the canyon. We saw an eagle and a coyote, and then we climbed out of the canyon to get to our campsite. So that's 2 canyon rim traverses. So 3 points for each of those. We get our bonus for ending at a campsite. So that's, would be 6 points. Erase that. So it would be 6 points. So we actually get 12 points because we have our double bonus. Excellent. All right, so we have completed 2 days. We get 2 more water bottles, completing our 2nd day of hiking. We've had some pretty decent weather. Some sun both days, bit of rain, bit more rain today. All right, now day 3. We got a 3. That gives us 3 movement points, partly cloudy. We need to make it through that shade. Maybe we should go up and view that snake because that would complete us another set. So that would be 1, 2. It's only 2 movement points, but I think it's okay. Or should we go to the hot springs? 1, 2, 3 to go to the hot springs. That would get us 3 points. I think it's better for us to go view the snake. So let's go 1, 2. Oh, whoops. Nope. Don't want to cross that just yet. So I'm using a wet erase pen. So I'm using this Q-tip for my eraser. I like the wet erase because then I don't smudge it when I drag my hand across it. All right, try this again. 1, go through the shade. 2, 3, end at the hot springs. So we crossed 3 contour lines, so we get a 3 for our hot springs. We're going to go soak in the hot springs. We passed through a shade feature. Oh, and I didn't circle the next animal on the track for this other shade feature. Seems like I'm remembering every other time. So first of all, we did not view the snake, but you know what? I'm going to circle the next snake for the shade feature, and then I forgot to circle an animal on the animal track for this shade feature back here. So let's look at what's coming. We're going to be trying to get over here. A couple of coyotes along the way. Eagle over here. Some snakes. Maybe let's do the eagle. It seems like those might be harder to get to. Again, I'm trying to keep these as sets because of my hut multiplier. Now there is a hut up here I might try and go to. Let's see what we get. Whoa, 6. I don't like rolling 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is sunny though, so I have 5 movement points. That might get me up to that hut. 1, 2, 3, 4 movement points to get to the hut. I think it's worth it. Oh, but I need to find shade. Oh, but I have a hat. I have a hat. That's great because the closest shade we haven't been to is way over here. So let's do that. Let's use our hat because we need to find shade. We have 5 movement points. It's really sunny out and we're going for a long distance. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to that, visit that hut. Circle my multiplier here. We're probably trying to get over to this campsite number 3. Or, where's the next closest one? Way over here. I don't know if we're going to be able to visit all the shade features, but I'm trying. Okay, next part of our, look at that, a 1. And it's raining. That's a little bit of a reprieve in the weather, but we only get 2 movement points. So we might have to use, let's use some water. Go 1, 2, we're going to go through that water, 3 to get over to view that coyote there. So I get to circle the water for visiting the lake, or passing through the lake, or the edge of the lake. And I have to cross out of water because I traversed 2 contour lines and a grid line. So I had to use 3 movement points and I only had 2. Oops. So next, circle the coyote. I get so excited about the actual wandering, I forget. Oh, look at that, it's a 1. 1s are nice. 3 movement points, it's partly cloudy. Let's see, what do we want to do then? With 3 movement points, I could go to that compass. That gets me close to that shade. Where's our next campsite? That could happen on our next turn. It looks like it's over here, but there's shade up here. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear. Think about this. We can visit this shade. No, we can't visit shade when we use a cable car. Okay, well, 3 movement points. Let's focus on that. We do have a climbing rope. 3 movement points. What bonus are we going for? What have we visited so far? We've visited a hot springs and a hut and a coyote. Maybe we should go visit another hot springs. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. That's how many movement points we have. Let's do that. We get close to that shade over there. 1, 2, 3. Another hot springs for 3 points. And we're at a ×2 multiplier here, so we actually get 6 points. Okay, next. That was a little bit of partly cloudy. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, look at that. Partly sunny. We do have to find some shade. We have 4 movement points, and on our next turn, we need to be near a campsite. So let's see. We could actually find 2 shade. 1, 2, 3, 4, and end up here and pass through 2 shades. That actually, I think, would be a great idea. And then what campsite are we going to be going for, either here or here? We'll only have 2 movement points, so let's think about that for a minute. If I end here with 2 movement points, 1, 2, I can get down to that campsite. Okay, so right now we have 4 movement points and we have to find some shade. So 1, 2, we found some shade. 3, 4, and we go to that hot springs, and so we get 4 points for the hot springs. We used all 4 of our movement points. We don't have to use any water. We went through 2 shade features, so I get to circle 2 animals. 1, and who else? What do we have coming up over here? We're going to be down here. We're going to end our day down here. And so we're going to be going for these 2 shade features where we have some coyotes and eagles. We could visit that snake. We might not make it to that coyote. Which one are we less likely to? We're less likely to visit the coyote because we'll want to pass through that shade feature. So let's circle the coyote over here. All right, and we don't really have to roll, but let's do it anyway. Be completionists. We just get 2 movement points. It's the end of our day, partly cloudy, And we decided we're going to go 1, 2, down to campsite number 5. All right. And I'm going to get 2 points for every feature that was the same that I passed through or that I visited on this day. And I had a hot springs sort of day. So I had 1 hot springs back here, 1 hot springs here, and 1 hot springs there. So I had 3 hot springs, 2 points each. That's 6 points, but we have our 2 times multiplier for finishing our day at a campsite. So that's 12 points. We're doing good. Right, now we get 2 water for the end of our day. Did I pass? I didn't pass through a shade. Nope. And we go to day 4 of our trip. And we start with a 1. That's a great way to start. It is probably cloudy over here. I think that's what that means. And we only have, let's see, we have 3 movement points. Oh, that's great. Let's visit that snake. Well, view the snake. And go through that shade feature and go to that snake there. Circle the snake, and we went through a shade feature, so we get to circle another animal on the animal track. I don't need a ticket. I might be able to use a rope, actually. I already have one though, so maybe I might not be able to visit an eagle, so let's just be safe and visit that, view that eagle. All right, going to our next move. Ooh, 2. It's gonna be a long day of hiking. Cold? Huh, it's funny. I hadn't seen that before, but yeah, we hadn't. It's cold. It does get really cold. Maybe we started our hike really early in the morning because in the desert it gets really cold at night. So we have 1 movement point. Yikes. Well, I guess we're just gonna come over here to this compass and not even cross a grid line, or we could go over and view that eagle, but I think let's do the compass. Where's another hut? We missed this hut up here, but we could try and make it over to this hut over here for another multiplier. All right, next 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. It is partly cloudy. We have 3 movement points. Let's see, where do we want to go? Wow, we have a lot of water, actually. Might have to use that. But we have a lot of water. We have a climbing rope. We have a ticket. And we're not using these things. This is not great. I have 2 backpacks full of gear. Well, maybe not 2 backpacks full of gear. That'd be hard to hike with. I have some wild gear. If I cross a bunch of contour lines and come over to this hot springs, where's our campsite? We're going to try and end up here. Which means we could go to that hut. Tell you what, let's do our 3. Let's see. Let's go. Do we have a hat? We have backpacks. So if we need to find shade, there's 3 possible times we might need to find shade. So even if I go through this shade feature now, I have at least 2 hats. If I view another eagle, I would get another hat. What's the bonus we're looking at? Oh, we're looking at sets of animals. What have I visited? I visited, oops, I forgot to put an X here. I visited a snake, so maybe this is my only, no, there's a coyote up here. Let's go to this. If we go 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 3 movement points. 4, 5, 6, 7, that would be too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get to the coyote, 4, 5 to get to that eagle. Let's do, eagle gives us a hat. Let's do that. We meandered in this canyon. 3, 4, go through the water, 5. And we only had 3 movement points, so 2 water bottles, but we visited a lake, so we get to circle a water bottle. And we circle on the eagle track. So now we have a hat in reserve. Our other one blew away, apparently. Okay, next. Oof. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we really got to think about this. Our next turn could be our last. We have 3 movement points. I want to make it through this shade feature, and that, I think, is our last shade feature we have to make it through. So with 3 movement points, I do have a bunch of water. I do have a climbing rope. I do have a ticket. I might need to use that ticket here. We have visited an eagle. I'm sorry, I keep saying visited. We've seen a snake, we've seen an eagle. Maybe we need to see a coyote and go through the shade. So that would be 1, 2, through the shade, 3, 4. We have 3 movement points. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we went through some shade. So circle the coyote. We went through some shade, so I'm going to circle this snake here. And we used up a water. And I circled the coyote already. Okay, I'm hoping for a 1 or a 2. That would be ideal. I'd love to make it up to this hut. That would be fantastic. We don't have to end our day at a campsite, but we do get double our bonus if we do. Although a hut would be quite valuable, although we didn't go to that hut there. Well, let's see what we get. 1 or 2, that would be great. Look at that, it's a 1. That's fantastic. We do need to find some shade though. We've used all the shade, so we're gonna have to use a hat. So let's just cross that off right now. We have 4 movement points. What are we gonna do with 4 movement points? Do we wanna go to this hut to increase our multiplier? 1, 2, 3, 4 movement points to get to the hut. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that. And that gives us an extra 3 points. I would love to visit the other hut, but that's probably not going to be possible. I don't know that we'll be lucky enough to roll 2 1s in a row, but it could happen. If we get a 1, I think I'm going to try and go up to that. Maybe up to the hut? What should we do? Oh, we get 5 points if we visit another compass. Is there one of those nearby? Of course not. What else would get us points? Any one of these would get us 6 points, any animal, so we'll think about that. Well, let's hope for a 1. And this is the opposite of a 1, literally. Here's the 1, here's the 6 we rolled. Okay, it's the end of our day. We have 2 movement points and we're trying to get up to this campsite, but we have a bunch of water, climbing rope, 2 tickets, 2 climbing ropes, and a couple of backpacks. We did not use up all of our bonuses, so we're definitely gonna go 1, 2, 3 to get to that cable car. And let's think about this. I guess so with the cable car, we can view an eagle from our cable car. So we use our dotted line to go to the eagle. I don't think that counts as visiting it, but it won't matter for us because we've already seen an eagle. So we go across the canyon, we get to stop at a waypoint along the way. We don't get credit for going across the water. So circle the eagle, that gets us 6 points. Oh, but we'd have to end at the cable car. Oh, is that worth it? Oh, it's 6 points either way. It's 6 points either way. I don't think it matters. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, literally. Okay, so we'll just end at the cable car. That's fine. We fulfilled the easy requirement by ending 3 of our days at a campsite. We did manage to see today a snake, an eagle, and a coyote. I don't think we get to count that eagle, but that doesn't matter. We did see 1 set of animals, so that's 6 points. We don't get the double bonus because we did not end at a campsite. We ended here at the cable car. Don't know how that works in real life, but yeah, maybe we're stuck over the canyon or something. Okay, so we are at the end. Let's see, we now do end game scoring. We went on quite the adventure. Started over here. We ended kind of near where we started. We managed to cross the canyon 2 times, and we saw a lot of wildlife and visited 4 hot springs on our hike. So let's see, here we get 6 and 12, 16. We don't have any points here or here. We have 7 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7 times 5 is 35. Let me make sure I'm doing that right. With the huts, what does it say? Each hut you visit increases a score multiplier for each set of different animals you have seen at the end of the game. So we don't have to have visited them, we just have to have seen them. So that's great. That brings 35 down here. This is going to be 840. And here we have 24, 30, 38. And we managed to visit all of the shade features. And there are 8 shade features at 2 points each. So that's 16 points plus 10 because we went to all of them. Let's double check. Yes, we did manage to go to all of them. So 26 points. That's great. I think we did pretty well, for a total of 139 points. I don't think that's too bad. I haven't played map 2 a bunch, but I do really like it. It might replace map 1 as my favorite. I like the canyon and the having to find shade and the sets of animals. There's just enough sort of additional little challenges to map 2 to make it a lot of fun. So if you played along with us, go ahead and put your score in the comments. Let us know what you thought. Let us know on your trip. How many times did you cross the canyon? And how many wildlife did you see? How many hot springs did you visit? I wish we could post pictures in the comments on YouTube, but we can't. Definitely make a comment. That helps me out. And I love reading your guys' comments. It's otherwise, I kind of feel like I'm recording videos into the void. So please, if you did like the video, give it a thumbs up, give me a comment. And if you do want to share a picture, where you can do that is in our Discord. So come on over to the Discord where you can chat about games and science and all sorts of stuff with other like-minded people. It's free. It's completely free. I think what I'm going to do in the next monthly video, so that would be the vlog for May 2024, I will talk a bit about the Discord, and if you've never used Discord before, sort of how you get signed up for all of that. Or maybe I should make a separate video for that. I'll think about that. But anyway, so put your score in the comments. Let us know about your trip, how many hot springs you visited and all that. And then come join us in the Discord and share a picture of your map. That would be fantastic. Anyway, that's all I have for you for this one, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!